Good afternoon, children. In our last class, we had studied about a force acting on a body when it is immersed partially or wholly in a fluid. And then we had derived a mathematical expression for finding the upthrust acting on the body, which was upthrust is equal to immersed volume into density of liquid into G. That means this upthrust or the buoyant force is equal to immersed volume into density of the liquid into G. And the immersed volume is not the total volume. It is only that part of the object which is immersed in the fluid. Now this expression, when we had continued, had also led to the fact that buoyant force of the upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the immersed part of the solid. Now we would like to study about Archimedes' principle. Actually, Archimedes, on the basis of his experimental results, obtained a principle which is known as Archimedes' principle. There is a legend associated with it. Archimedes was a Greek scientist. The king of Greece was given a crown and he wanted to know whether this crown is made up of pure gold or not. For this, he summoned Archimedes and he asked him to find out if the crown was made up of a pure gold. And Archimedes, he kept thinking. He was not getting a solution for it. And one day, when he stepped in a bathtub full of water, he noticed that some water overflows from the tub. He got the clue and he ran shouting Eureka. Eureka in Greek means I have found it, I have got it. And after that we have the famous Archimedes principle, which states whenever an object is wholly or partially immersed in a fluid, it experiences an upward force which is equal to the weight of fluid displaced by immersed object. Now from this you can see that he is talking of wholly or partially. Wholly means completely, partially means part of it. So it is clear that there are two forces acting from on a body when it is immersed in a fluid. One is the weight of the object, which is equal to mg. This is due to the gravitational force of the earth acting on the object, and another is buoyant force Fb, which is equal to the buoyant force acting on the object due to the displaced fluids. Now this force is acting in vertically downward direction and Fb is acting in vertically upward direction. Now the net downward force acting on the body, it's called its apparent weight. So over here we have a term known as apparent weight. What is apparent weight? Apparent weight is equal to net force acting on a body when immersed in a fluid. So this apparent weight will be equal to what? The subtraction of these two forces. So we can say the apparent weight is equal to the true weight of the body minus the buoyant force. That means I can write it as W minus Fb, where W is the true weight of the body and Fb is the buoyant force. So there is a decrease in the weight of the object when immersed in a fluid. That means decrease in the weight, that means a body will always weigh less in a fluid than when not immersed in a fluid. So children, when we say that apparent weight is equal to true weight minus buoyant force, and you know, I am laying stress on it again, we are talking about any body immersed. This will be the weight, true weight W acting on the body, and the buoyant force will be in the upward direction, right? So what will the spring balance weigh? If you have a spring balance over here, what is going to weigh? The apparent weight, what now it appears to be. So that is why we have written apparent weight is equal to true weight minus buoyant force. So if I talk about the decrease in weight, right, or I say the loss in weight, this loss in weight is going to be equal to the actual weight or the true weight minus the apparent weight. Apparent weight, and this should not confuse you, apparent weight means the weight of the object in fluid. That means when you have immersed the object in a fluid and you find it weight, that is known as the apparent weight. So the loss in weight is equal to the actual weight minus apparent weight. So from here you will also get that. Now see, over here you have, let's put the symbols, let's take true weight as W. True weight as W. So loss in weight is equal to W minus W dash. What is W dash? W dash is the apparent weight or the weight of the object when it is immersed in a fluid. Now this will be W minus, this was the apparent weight. So what is this? I am substituting W minus FB. Okay, this gives me W minus W plus FB. This will cancel. This is equivalent to FB. That means I can say that loss in weight is equal to FB. What is FB? Buoyant force or upthrust. Fine. Now see, I'll explain again. I'm trying to tell you over here is that whenever you have a solid, it will have some weight, that is the gravitational force exerted by the earth. When you immersed it in a fluid, it will experience an upthrust, which is the buoyant force, which is acting in the upward direction. So that means there are two forces acting on the body, W in the downward direction and FB upthrust in the upward direction. The net force acting on the body will be the resultant of these two. That means the subtraction of these two. So when I hang a spring balance over here, the spring balance is now going to give me the decreased weight of the body. That decreased weight of the body is due to the upthrust acting on it. So decrease in weight or loss in weight is equal to actual weight minus the apparent weight. Apparent weight means what? Now I will be observing when the body is inside a fluid. So now see, the loss in weight I said is actual weight minus apparent weight. Now I have taken symbols for it. I have taken W as the true weight and I have taken W dash as the apparent weight. Over here I had already calculated the apparent weight, which is coming out to be apparent weight. I can write this also. Apparent weight is equal to we can put the usual system. Apparent weight W dash is equal to W minus FB. So loss in weight is equal to W minus FB when you open the bracket. So finally I am getting loss in weight is equal to the buoyant force or upthrust. So finally we conclude from here that the upthrust acting on any object which is immersed in a fluid is equivalent to its loss in weight. So if I happen to measure the weight of the body in air and then I measure its weight in water, when I measure its weight in water, what the spring balance will give me will be the apparent weight. The loss in weight, that means the subtraction of the two weights, will give me upthrust. What I am saying is that when I hang any solid on a spring balance, I will get the weight of solid in air. Let's say this is equal to W. Then I immerse this solid in water. Then I will get weight of solid in liquid. This is equal to W dash. Obviously, this W dash will be less than W because there is an upward force acting on it. So that means the spring balance will show a decrease in the reading. That decrease in the reading we say is the loss in weight. And how will I get that loss in weight? The loss in weight is equal to W minus W dash. And why did this loss in weight occur? Why was there a loss in weight? The loss in weight obviously was due to upthrust acting. So therefore, loss in weight, which is equal to weight in air minus weight in liquid, is equal to upthrust. Okay? And this upthrust we already know is equal to weight of liquid displaced by immersed volume. Okay, that means finally we have over here now upthrust is equal to loss in weight. This is one thing that you need to remember. Upthrust is equal to loss in weight. Loss in weight means weight in air minus weight in fluid or the liquid, right? And you also need to remember that upthrust is equal to weight of liquid displaced by an immersed object. This is equal to immersed volume into density of liquid into G. Here you will remember that when you talk of the upthrust, you are talking of the immersed volume that will be of the object which is immersed in the fluid, and it will be density of the liquid into G, or we can write this as V rho G. So these are the expressions which you should be thorough with. You should know that upthrust is equal to the immersed volume into density of liquid into G. Also, upthrust is equal to loss in weight. Loss in weight is obviously due to the upthrust. So, upthrust is equal to loss in weight. That means the weight in air minus weight in fluid. Now, keeping all this in mind, we will do few numericals. Now, I hope you are ready with your copies and pen. So, we start with the first numerical that we have. I have written it on the board already. The question says an object weighs 3.2 Newton in air and 2.7 Newton when completely immersed in water. Calculate loss and weight of the object in water and upthrust on the object. Now, I give you just few seconds to start off and then we'll continue. So just hurry up. Okay, some of you might have managed it. So first A part is loss in weight. So loss in weight, we just now did. How will you calculate? It will be weight in air minus weight in water. Fine. So air is 3.2 Newton minus 2.7 Newton. I hope you remember the SI unit of weight is Newton. And don't forget the gravitational unit of weight will be kgf or gf. So when you subtract these two, what are you going to get? 0.5 Newton. So this is the loss in weight of the object, in the object when it is immersed in water. Now the B part wants you to calculate the upthrust. Now you don't have to do anything, you just have to remember upthrust is equal to loss in weight. Before starting the numericals, I had already stressed on this. So upthrust is equal to loss in weight. I have already calculated loss in weight, so upthrust happens to be 0.5 Newton. But when you do the numerical, this sentence has to be written so that we know that upthrust is equal to loss in weight. Why are you writing upthrust equal to 0.5 Newton? because upthrust is equal to loss in weight. So is 0.5 Newton. So now we can proceed to the next question. Okay, keep writing the question also. Question number 2 says a piece of brass weighs 180 gram in air and 160 gram when fully immersed in water. Fine, this is the statement, and what you need to calculate is, the question is asking you what is the upthrust, and second, volume of brass piece. Okay, now first part is what is upthrust. I'm sure some of you might have started doing it also. So you have upthrust, what will I write? Equal to loss in weight. That means this will be equal to weight in air minus weight in water. Okay, now over here the question has said a piece of brass weighs 180 G in air. So when you write it over here, you will write 180 GF because G is not the unit of weight. So you write 180 GF. So this is the weight in air in gravitational units minus 160 GF. This is going to give me 20 GF. That means upthrust is acting on the brass piece is equivalent to 20 GF. Now second part is calculating the volume of the brass piece. Now to calculate the volume of the brass piece, what are we going to do? We will use the relationship that upthrust is equal to immersed volume into density of liquid into G. Okay. Now I have calculated the upthrust to be 20 GF. Let us put the values. So I get 20 GF is equal to immersed volume. This is what I needed to calculate. So this is the volume into density of the liquid. Where is it immersed? In water. What is the density of water? That will be 1 gram per centimeter cube into G. So here I have both sides GF. So volume will simply be equivalent to 20 centimeter cube. Children, in questions related to Archimedes principle, upthrust, it is not always necessary to convert gravitational units into Newton. Over here, if you want, you can even write it by multiplying with the value of G. That means over here it is GF. So if you want the answer to be in gram, then in dyne, you will first have to convert in Newton and all that. So we generally use gravitational units while solving questions in Archimedes principle. So over here, when I had upthrust 20 GF, I have not substituted the value of G over here because I have not multiplied this also with G. So this G and G on both sides will go away. So I'll have volume equal to 20 centimeter cube. Children, the third question says a body weighs 350 gram force in air and 210 gram force when completely immersed in water. Find A, loss in weight of the body, B, upthrust, and C, volume. Fine. Now I'm sure after doing two numericals you must be confident, and I can start straight away. Yes children, how will you calculate loss in weight? Loss in weight will be equal to what? Weight in air minus weight in water. So what is the weight in air? 350 gram force. In water it is 210 gram force, right? And I told you that we will not convert it into the SI unit, we leave it in the gravitational unit only. So when you subtract these two, what are you going to get? You will get 140 gram force. So the loss in weight when the brass is immersed, or this body is immersed in water is 140 gram force. What is the second part asking us to find? Upthrust. So this is simple enough. We simply have to write upthrust is equal to loss in weight. So I will get upthrust as 140 GF. Finally, what you need to calculate is the volume of the body. Over here, again I'll have to use the fact that upthrust is equal to volume, this was immersed volume, into density of liquid into G. So I'll get 140, this is the value of upthrust that we have calculated, 140 GF is equal to immersed volume, this is what I need to find, into density of the liquid. Over here it is given to be water, so I just use 1 into G. So from here I get directly V is equal to 140 centimeter cube. Okay, over here I just want to tell you one thing. Upthrust is equal to immersed volume, no doubt. Over here I have calculated the volume of the body as 140 centimeter cube. Keeping in mind the question said when completely immersed in water. That means the whole volume of the body is inside the water. So the volume of the water displaced will be equal to the volume of the body. So volume is coming out to be 140 centimeter cube. So here I have one more, but the last numerical. So this will be question number 4, which says a solid of volume 1.2 into 10 to the power of -3 meter square and density 2500 kilogram per meter cube is completely immersed in water of density 1000 kilogram per meter cube. Calculate A, weight of solid in air, B, upthrust on the solid, C, apparent weight of the solid, and finally the question is asking you to tell will the solid float or sink. And in the question they have given the value of G to be 10 meter per second square. Now, what is the first part of the question? The first part of the question is to find the weight of the solid in air. So, all of you know that weight is equal to m into g. Now, this m into g, the mass is not given to you. So, it will be what? Volume of solid, and over here, very important, it will be density of solid. Okay, into G. Fine. Now, what is the volume of the solid given to be? Volume of the solid, this is the volume of the solid, so I write it as 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 3. This is the volume of the solid. Into density of solid. Density of the solid, children, is given 2500. Fine. So what do I do is, I am simply writing it as 2.5 into 10 to the power of 3 to simplify my calculations. And since value of G is given to me, I will multiply with 10. You know this and this will neutralize each other, cancel each other. 1.2 into 2.5 is going to give me 3 into 10, 30 Newton. So when I get the weight of the solid in SI unit as 30 Newton, and if you don't want to substitute the value of 10 over here, then you can even have given as weight equal to 3GF. Sorry, kgf. Clear? But they had given us the value of G, so we are required to use it over here. So weight is equivalent to 30 Newton. Next, what do you need to calculate? Upthrust on the solid. Now, upthrust is equal to immersed volume into density of liquid into G. Now over here note, when you wanted to calculate the weight of the solid, it was volume of the solid into density of the solid. But when you need to calculate the upthrust, then no doubt it is the volume of the solid but multiplied with density of liquid, right? So again, immersed volume obviously will not change because it is completely immersed in water. So the volume of the body will be equal to the immersed volume. This will be 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into density of liquid. Liquid is what? Water. That is given to be 1000. I write it as 10 to the power of 3 into 10, the value of G. So this will give me directly, 12 Newton. Or I can also, if I don't use the value of G at places, then it would have been W equal to 1.2 kgf. But again I am telling you that since we are given the value of G, that is why I have multiplied with the value of G everywhere. So weight in air is coming out to be 10 Newton. Upthrust is coming out to be 12 Newton. What you needed to calculate finally was the apparent weight of the, over here I have written it incorrect, just corrected, apparent weight of the solid. So now the apparent weight, I hope you recall the relation that I had written previously, will be equal to the weight in air minus upthrust. I hope you have recalled this relationship we had done prior to starting of the numericals. So weight in air will be 30 minus 12. This is going to give me how much? 18 Newton. Right? Or when you use this GF, then that will give me 1.8 kgf. Now, this is the apparent weight. 18 Newton is the apparent weight. That means when you immerse it in water. Now, the last part of the question was asking you to tell, will the solid float or sink? Now, float or sink will be decided by two things, the weight of the body and the upthrust. Now, see over here, what is the weight of the body? Weight of the body is 30 Newton, right? Which is acting in the downward direction. What is the upthrust on the acting on the body? Which is 12 Newton, which is acting in the upward direction. So when there are two forces acting on the body, 30 and 12, which one is greater? 30. That means weight of the body is more than the upthrust. So the body will definitely sink. Reason being, since weight of body is greater than the upthrust. With this, we end our today's class of physics. You will post in your attendance, and there's an assignment also posted in the classroom. You will not only do these 4 questions, you will also do the questions of the assignment and mail it. Children, please be sure to mail your assignments. Many of you are not doing the work and it is not a good practice. So see that you do the questions and send them.